Hello, public. Hello, friends. Hello, family. Hello, strangers. Hello, internet. Tonight is the live stream for One Bite at a Time. We've been running this campaign for the past month, and this is the very last night. It is live. So, in case you're unfamiliar with One Bite at a Time book, this is a big oversized hardcover art book featuring 20 years of my work in comics, illustration, and design. And my goodness, it has been going really well. And I'm so over the moon with gratitude for everyone who has come out in support of this, everyone who's backed the book, everyone who's shared about this campaign over the past month. I've seen so many people coming out in support. It warms my heart. It makes me smile. And I'm so happy that we can bring this big, beautiful book to fruition. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And in order to say thank you, I thought I would do a final night live stream. So let's talk about this a little bit because I'm pretty psyched about it. So this is the book in question that I was just mentioning to you. If you would like to check it out, you can go to this handy URL, onebiteatatimebook.com, and that will take you straight to the Kickstarter campaign, which is live, but only for another few hours. We are coming down the home stretch here. So at the end of today, this campaign will stop and you will no longer be able to get the book at this crazy price with free US shipping and a pile of stretch goals on top of it. But before we get to all that, I want to talk to you about tonight. So right here, right now, you and me, this is the final night live stream happening immediately. And I don't just want this to be a celebration of this book. I want this to be a celebration of the incredibly talented friends that I am lucky to have. So over the course of this evening, this is going to be kind of like a live talk show. So essentially, to start out here right now at 7:30, I'm going to be chatting with you for a little bit. And then come 7:40, my buddy Victor Dandridge of Vantage In-House Productions is going to come on and join us. After that, we'll chat with Eva C, who has done this really incredible comic called Drawing Bridges. After that, I'm going to chat with the power couple, JL Draco and Lindsay G of Oneshi Press. They've got a comics anthology live on Kickstarter right now. Then I know I've been talking about a few comics folks here, but we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about a game developer for the Playdate. If you're not familiar with the Playdate, it's a little yellow handheld gaming system with a crank, and that crank is a game mechanic. So we'll get into that and more with Lasagna. Finally, we'll wrap it up with my buddy Art Ebuen, who is the writer for California Inc. Successfully funded a couple issues already on Kickstarter with more to come. And finally, we're going to wrap up the evening with my good buds, Don Walton and Nick Baldridge, who I just happened to also do a podcast with. So they're going to come on and help me wrap up this evening. So for right now, let's jump into this introduction and recap. So I told you that this book is about 20 years of my work in comics, illustration, and design. But this is not just an art book of pretty pictures. This book features a lot of behind the scenes process images showing how each piece came to be. So just for example, this is a comic book that I came out with just last year, and this is going to be featured in the book. But when it is, it's going to be featured on a spread that looks something like this, where on the right-hand side, you'll see a final finished piece, the book itself, paired with my grandfather's poem about empathy. That was the writing that fueled the comic itself. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see some curtains being pulled back and showing the behind-the-scenes process about how this book came to be. So you'll see several thumbnail images as I tried to work my way through what a cover design might look like, then moving on to the final pencils, inks, and then the book you see on the right, as well as a bit of didactic text. And this is going to happen for a great number of works throughout this book. This book, One Bite at a Time, which you can find at onebiteatatimebook.com for the next, 6 or 7 hours or so coming down the home stretch here. This book is over 250 pages long, and it's going to showcase not only my work in comics, like A Hunter's Tale, which you just saw, and Coin Op Carnival, which we see right in front of us, but also things like my illustration designs that I've done for clients, and also personal projects like this one, where I'll pull back the curtain to show you things like the inspiration for some of my pieces, as well as pencils and little notes that I'll put around the piece to remind myself, oh, hey, you need to fix this before going to inks and then final colors. But I also mentioned that I do work in the design field. I've designed quite a number of neon signs at this point, and you'll get to see how I work with clients. So on the left-hand side, you've got things like the sketches that I will show clients. And then once they choose one, we'll move forward with color comps. And then once they choose that, we'll move forward with the final fabricated design. And then even in the bottom left-hand corner there, you'll see some images of where the pieces reside now, because these are physical objects. So I've got a number of different neon signs that I've designed, and some of them will even feature some big double page spreads showcasing some up close images so you can get close and personal with some of these pieces. In addition to the neon signs that I'm doing, I've also designed a number of watches for London-based company Mr. Jones Watches. This was the first one I designed for them. It's sort of a carnival shooting gallery scene here. So the ducks along the top are the hours, and then the targets along the bottom are the minutes. And over on the left-hand side here, you're going to see some stuff that nobody's ever seen before. For example, that first rough draft. I have not shown anybody that. Not even Mr. Jones Watches got to see that because it was so bad. I didn't want anybody to see it. So that was just me trying to figure out what I wanted this to be. And then the refined sketch that you see on the right is what I actually sent them for a proposal, moving on to the final inks that you see on the bottom for the hours, minutes, dial, and glass as well. But then we're taking it way back. Like I said, this features 20 years of my work, and this is almost 20 years ago. This was from my time in grad school, and this is an illustrated interactive game where you see the run cycle of the me character. You know, that's me with a little more hair, and I've got my comic book in my hand and my socks and sandals, and I'll run throughout this environment that you see on the bottom, encountering different characters who all say mildly disparaging things about comics. And it's your job as the player to either educate them or passively agree, and you're rewarded or penalized based on your choice. So obviously, I'm really excited about the content for this book, but I'm also really excited about the formatting for the book. For example, this is a page of original artwork that has a really high resolution scan so that you can see all the pencils that went down first, the inks that went down afterwards, the double strokes around the character to really highlight him, and even the texture of the page is here. But when it's finally printed in the book itself, it's not just going to be the original artwork. The original artwork is going to be paired with a page of cleaned and colored final art. But when that original artwork is printed, it's going to have a few die-cut holes in there that will reveal that colored piece behind it so that you can see the before in the original art, or the after in the colored piece, or the before and after at the same time as you look through those die-cut holes. So this is just one of many different formatting specialty items that will be in this book. Not only are there die-cut holes, but there's also gatefold pages, vellum overlays, textured pages, embossing, foil stamping. The list goes on, and I'm just so over the moon, not only about what's inside, but also what's outside on the book. If you zoom in here a little bit, you can actually see that this is made of a dual cloth binding. That teal and brown is actual cloth, not paper, as you would traditionally find wrapping a hardback. So this is a cloth-bound book, and it's got dual foil stamping on the front, spine, and back cover. So no expense has been spared. It's also got built-in ribbon bookmarks, color-matched head and tail bands, copper gilded page edges. Again, just everything in the kitchen sink has been thrown at this book. I'm over the moon to bring this to fruition, and thankfully, I'm not the only one. This last time I checked, we had well over 250 people backing this campaign, and I'm just I'm beside myself with gratitude about this. So I thought I had a pretty tall ask with a $9,000 pledge funding goal, and at this point we have over doubled that amount. Also, because we have so many folks, we have knocked down a ton of stretch goals. So now anybody who's hopping into this campaign, either before this time or before this night is over, is going to receive all of these rewards, regardless of what you pledge for. And this is the last chance for you to hop in on this book at 17% off cover price with free US shipping and that heap of stretch goals I just showed you. So I am super excited to share this with folks. If you are too, I'd like you to head over to onebiteatatimebook.com. But it is 7:40, which means I'm going to be chatting with my good buddy, Victor Dandridge. So if you are not familiar with Victor Dandridge, he is the man behind Vantage in-house productions, where he has a number of different subcategories of Vantage in-house, different imprints that, like, You Create Comics, Geeking, Unconventional, Black and White and Red All Over, which I'm going to have him tell you about right now. Victor, are you here?
I'm here.
Fantastic. Good to hear you,
Oh
man.
my goodness. Absolutely. It's super pleasure. Oh wait, I still have I taught a class last night, and obviously my background is still based on that. Sorry about that. Hello and welcome to my studio space, my very messy studio. Dude, I gotta tell you, I am a terrible friend. I didn't even know what your campaign was for. I just backed it. And so now, like, hearing you talk about, I'm like, oh, I want this book. How do I get this book? And I'm like, oh, you already backed it. Okay.
You've got it. Your name's in the backer list.
No, I mean, when you, and I'm a big fan of you, all the things that you've done, I've been a fan of for a very long time. And about these 20 years. So I've gotten this, hey, fandom works both ways. So to see you do this book that's about process, oh, you're speaking my love language. So absolutely brilliant. Super excited that I'm a part of this campaign without even knowing that that's what it was, because that's fantastic. But yes, lovingly, I am called Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics, the purveyor of Vantage in-house productions. And then, as Ryan said, we have many subtle sub imprints underneath that one, like the You Create Comics brand, which is all about teaching kids how to make comics, going into school, educational spaces, libraries, comic cons even, and showcasing the joy of creating comics and how to, eliminating that sort of mystery of saying, oh, I have to be a grown-up when I do this. No, you don't. We also have Geeking, which is a clothing line. I'm going to make a big announcement for that one. In fact, we just celebrated 10 years of Geeking existing this week. And moving forward, can I announce this? Can I announce this?
I would love an announcement. Scoop us.
Here we go. Scoop time. So Geeking started off with the plan of being a hoodie and a t-shirt brand. But over this year, I have made a few exclusive items that have gotten so much attention that I'm switching to make those the focal point of the Geeking brand, and that is tennis shoes.
Whoa.
So Geeking is going to be its own shoe line that has the accessories as kind of a secondary piece, ancillary sort of setup for it, which is super fun. So man, I can't wait to make that available for everyone.
That is so killer. Congratulations, man. That's a big step.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then thank you for the big shout out for Black, White, and Red All Over. Again, another scoop. So we are getting ready to celebrate 500 episodes before the end of the year. 500 episodes. 500? Yes.
Oh, my land. As somebody who does podcasts and recording, that is a massive number. That is insane. Congratulations.
Thank you. A little bit more than 10 years, or just under 10 years to do it. However, there does like a little slight ring of negative, sad news with it. It's ending because the shop that we're doing it at is closing. But there's some opportunities that we're going to explore because we enjoy doing it so very much. So while the show proper, as we've done it week in and week out for the last 10 years, is changing up, we definitely appreciate and love everyone that's given us any sort of support, from creators, other comic shops, Comic Cons everywhere that's given us some love. We appreciate you. So we wouldn't have made it to 500 without him. So
That's so
super
cool.
dope.
Congratulations, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I want to have you on here really to give you a platform because as I showcased, I am a fan of your work. I've backed your campaigns too.
Thank
I
you. Thank
love
you.
seeing what you do. And I want to share you and your work with my audience. So hopefully get some more eyes on whatever you're doing. So what is it that you're working on right now? Or what is it that is already out that you want to point people toward? I want you to present your work as you want to be presented.
Gotcha.
So
all right, so I'm getting ready to make all of you fans of Vantage In-House Productions in just a few minutes. Vantage In-House is my love child of a comic imprint. It features 8 standalone stories or series, but they can all be read as one connected multiverse. So you can be introduced to them as individual pieces, per your leisure and per your age group, because we actually design our books with a readership in mind. So as you showed with the Kindergardians, that's an all ages friendly title, geared specifically for that Saturday morning cartoon feel. That's the thing that we want with that. It should come with a bowl of cereal, really. But we also have, teen centric pieces, young adult. By young adult, I do mean true like 18 plus adult, and then we have more mature titles that are a little bit more gritty. So as you grow in age, you can also grow in readership with our brand, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity with AHA Media that I have a development deal for everything that's in my imprint. So one day you could see movies, television, animation, video games, things like that of the Vantage In-House universe. So get on now, like become fans now, so that way you can instruct other people, or you can be that cool person when they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened." You're like, "I've been read about that. I'm a fan. I've been a fan." That's what we're looking for.
I remember you teasing something about that, and I didn't know it was public yet. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like you signed with AHA Media, and what does that mean? Is there anything moving forward? Is there anything in the works, or is it essentially optioned with possibilities that it may happen? Like what's going on there? Because I know that's a really
in the know. You're dropping the right words, man. Like that's perfect. No, so AHA Media has 2 co-founders, Matt McClure and Laura Hilker, who are phenomenal creatives, and they have a background in animation. And so with this deal, it's a first look deal, right? So not an option. And this is really important for other creators that might get an opportunity like this. The reason why you don't necessarily want to just immediately jump for an option deal is, though you do get money up front, it sets the price and value structure of the project. So what that does is it limits what you can actually receive as a creative force behind that. And that's something that you have to learn. A lot of times people will need like an agent or something like that. I've been very fortunate. I read legalese very, very well. So I can actually negotiate my own contracts fairly well. But in a situation like this, what this means is that we can shop these projects either as individuals or bundles, and there's not a set price tag upon it. So the value that I receive from it is varied. It doesn't have to just be, oh, you only get 10%, or it's only this amount, and perhaps either I have to pay back that amount if the option goes away or what have you. So it's really in a space where I get the most creative freedom, but the highest possible value if something should move.
Very interesting. Man, I don't know how you learn legalese. I need to pick your brain about that sometime.
Anytime.
But yeah, this is Greek to me because I've never been a part of any optioning before, but I've heard through the grapevine of how these things work and how difficult they can be. So I wish you well moving forward with all that.
Thank you.
I know you've been rolling out different comics projects in phases, and we're coming up on a new phase or 2 or 3 or however many you're up to now.
That is true.
Is there anything you want to pitch about this current phase in the minute that we have left with one another?
Absolutely. So with our phase 1 books, we set a foundation for, again, the separate identity of the titles. With phase 2, we're actually showing how these titles interconnect and build upon themselves. So I would highly recommend the phase 1 titles, which is Wonder Care, Origins Unknown, The Trouble with Love, and The Samaritan. But when you're really ready to really dig in and see that there's a bigger world unfolding, Point of Authority, Family Ties, and Never Too Late are going to be great add-ons to it. But we also have things like Wonders of the Weird and Beyond, which is my love letter to the Fantastic Four, Gloriana Pax, which is a great sort of Wonder Woman-esque type story that is rooted in mythologies from around the world, and we're just building more and more stuff that we think our readers will love, and our biggest fans will just blow their minds with how everything ties together.
That's so cool, man. It's so ambitious, like
Thank you.
very Marvel universe, but like
Yes.
you don't have a million people hired to do all this. So,
Not yet. Not yet.
I've heard you like self-proclaiming to be the hardest working man in comics for a long time, but I think it's just like a foregone conclusion at this point. Like, I don't know if anybody's going to argue that. You are doing so incredibly much. It's really impressive to watch everything come together. Yeah.
Thank you. If I'm gonna say it, I better live up to it. So the way we do it.
Well, you're doing it, man. You're doing it.
Thank you. Congratulations to you in this campaign. I love the success that it has, and we still got a few hours, so you can get a couple more people to back it. So I hope everyone that's a fan of mine that's watching, if you haven't backed this already, do it now. Check out this process work. See how one of the best in the business breaks down the business and makes things available for all of us. So,
oh man,
can't recommend it high enough.
Thank you so much, Victor. I so appreciate your kind words. Before you leave, do you want to give a website or anywhere people should go to check you out?
Yes, you guys can find me at vantageinhouse.com. If you're interested in getting some supplies for your young ones or yourself even to make your own comics, you can go to ucreatecomics.com. That's the letter U, C-R-E, the number 8, comics.com. We have all kinds of stuff for you. Come visit.
Awesome. Victor, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I so apprate your time. Great to see you.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, Eva, I see you. And also, let me give a little introduction here. So it is 7:50, which means we've got Eva C with us, and Eva can be found on Comics by Eva on Instagram. And I am familiar with Eva through the Heatsink Comics Collective, where we get together occasionally and draw comics together online. And I recently purchased Eva's book, Drawing Bridges, which talks about prison reform and this autobiographical story of growing up with a father behind bars. So I want to turn this over to you, Eva, to introduce yourself and tell us about who you are, the comics that you make, what you want people to know about you, and also thank you so much for showing up here tonight. It's great to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So yeah, I'm a Queens-based cartoonist. I mostly do like nonfiction comics, but you know, I'm very much open to like traversing into like other sorts of like kinds of stories and comics. But yeah, I mostly just create like diary comics, autobiographical, and exploring just the memoir genre. And last December, this past December, I created Drawing Bridges as part of it was to fulfill a grant that I got from the New York City it was the Queens Council on the Arts. They gave out grants to Queens-based artists to complete like new work. And yeah, it's my first mini memoir comic.
That's so cool. I was looking around frantically because your book is right here. I photographed it today. That was this. So yeah, I did not know that this was a grant-based project. Do you mind telling us about that a little bit? How did you find out about that? How did you apply for it? How did that whole process go? And how did it lead to the story of yours?
So I found out about it. I found about it from an organization like based in Queens. It's called Flushing Town Hall. It's like a performance arts venue, but they also do like galleries and such. But yeah, they gave out notices saying like, oh, the New York Foundation of the Arts was distributing grants like through the Queens Council on the Arts for like just working artists like in New York City. And the grant was about $3,000 and you had to complete a project within the year. And you had to share it publicly. So with a comic, it's like I had to do a reading. Like I had to actually like document it and whatnot.
Oh, interesting. So making the book and distributing it was not enough. Like you had to perform. Was that part of the grant?
I had to do a reading. Yeah.
Huh,
I was contractually obligated to like.
Wow. Huh. That's funny. Very cool. So how did the
Yes.
reading go, and when did that take place?
The reading took place like in December. So I finished the project in December and I just did the reading so that way I could fulfill the grant. And it went well. It was also like my first ever reading too. So it was a lot of firsts within like the last like year or so.
Wow. Wow. So I am most familiar with your work through this book that we were talking about. What sort of work have you done prior to that? Can you tell me about that? Because obviously something led up to this, and I don't know about it. I would like to.
Yeah, so like the kinds of works I've done before. So I mostly have just done like just autobiographical, just short comics and whatnot. The longest project I did before this was like an 8-page comic that I did. I took a class with like Josh Neufeld. I don't know if you
Hmm.
know of him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do know of him. Yes.
Yeah, he's a really great guy, like just so
Mhm.
nice. And he kind of was like my mentor for about like a year or so. I
He's done
took
a lot of reportage comics, right?
yeah, like he does like a
Yeah.
lot of comics journalism.
Yeah.
And so I during his class, and that was like my first ever like just foray into comics, like
Hmm.
doing his class. That was like back in like 2020. Um, so yeah, we had to our final project was to do like a long like just nonfiction piece. Like it was about like 4 to 5 pages he wanted, but I did 8 pages of like
Nice.
um it was it's called Leonidas. Like I actually have it like in my Gumroad shop on Instagram.
Hmm.
Um it's available to like download for free if anyone wants to read it. It's not like um it's a story of my grandmother when she was like a kid. Like so she was taken out of my grandma grew up in Puerto Rico.
Hmm.
But she was taken out of school in like in the third grade.
Hmm.
And to work in the sugarcane fields to support like a family of 12.
Wow.
Um, and so I learned about this like when I was older. Like I always kind of knew like my grandmother like didn't finish school, but I didn't know like why and like the full extent of the situation or anything like that. So I was told that when I was like in my like late teens, like early 20s, and I always thought like, wow, that's pretty heavy. And I just felt so guilty. And I was like, oh, like, I mean, like that was such a big sacrifice that she made when she was like so young, and then everyone else after her, like, was able to finish school,
Hmm.
So she really did. I mean, the sacrifice really did just like pave the sort of way for others. And I was like, oh, I was just so grateful for like just knowing that. And so I did like an 8-page comic about this experience in her life,
Wow.
like being taken
Wow.
out of school. And I tried to there was some creativity involved in the sense of like so it's like it was a nonfiction piece, but I would consider it like creative nonfiction because um there were some gaps that I had to fill, like regarding like I didn't know exactly how she felt about it as a kid. Like she didn't tell me herself how she felt. So I just had to assume like, oh, this was kind of this might be a lot for a child to process and probably didn't want to like work. So
Right. Right. Um, was your mother of your grandmother available when you were making this, or had she passed at that time?
yeah, she passed at that time.
Okay.
So I made the comic when so I'm 30 now. I'm gonna be 31 soon. But
Hmm.
like, this was like back in 2020 I did it. So she passed away like at least like 10 years prior to that.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Man, what an interesting story. And for Drawing Bridges too. So Drawing Bridges is about your relationship with your father who was in prison. And do you mind talking about that a little bit in the couple minutes we've got left here?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh wow, we have 2 minutes. It went by so
Yes,
fast.
I know.
Um, yeah, so drawing bridges. So quickly, I mean, the comic, I really wanted to, most of the comic, I really wanted to show it from like a child's perspective. So like the comic first starts off with like my first memory of like visiting my dad. So he was actually like in Rikers Island, and I guess a lot of struggle with the comic was I really want to feel genuine, like from my experience, like because I know that's what hooks that's what I believe like is what hooks people in, right? The sincerity of like telling these stories. And I didn't want to embellish the truth. I didn't want to make it like just overly dramatic in any way. I just wanted to just tell it from my experience as it was, like show. And I hope I did that. And generally, so yeah, I just wanted to just show like the effects of families, like the effects of like parental incarceration on families.
Yeah. Yeah. And where can people find it and find your work? Like if people are interested in this, and you should be, this story is so authentic and real and important. And I hope that people seek this out. And I hope you don't mind if I direct people to you to get this, because I think this book is really incredible. So do you mind telling us where people can find you and your work?
For sure. So they can find Drawing Bridges is completely like it's all on my Instagram, so you can read the whole thing. But if you would like a copy, you might have to find me at a festival, like because I don't really have like an online shop for it. Because I just have like prints of it. But yeah, so you might have to find me at a festival. You'll follow me. You could find out all about like which festivals I'm gonna go appear in and on Instagram.
Okay. So Comics by Eva on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
Is that the best place to find you?
that is, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Eva, thank you so much for your time today. I really super appreciate you being here. I hope this puts some more eyes on your work because you sure deserve it. Your book is incredible, and I can't wait to see what you make next.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was so fun being here.
I had a pleasure chatting with you. I wish we had a little bit longer,
It's okay.
but
Yeah.
hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, take care. See ya.
See ya.
All right, Oneshi folks, I see you, and I would like to introduce you. So it is 8 p.m., which means it's on to the power couple of Oneshi Press. Those couples, this couple is Lindsay G and JL Draco. Together they form Oneshi Press, who in their tagline says, "We build worlds and you're invited." And that's so incredibly true in the multitude of work that JL and Lindsay put out, from comics to prose to mixed media to games, you name it, they've done it. And not only that, but they do it in an ethical and sustainable way. I'm so proud to have them here today. JL and Lindsay, are you here?
We are here. I'm just trying to figure out why we can't get our camera to work. And I think
Oh,
it's
no.
actually because I had OBS open. There we go.
There we go.
Aha.
Fantastic.
Because I just
Hello.
left my stream on Twitch to pop by here to say hi to you.
Awesome.
And Twitch
Hey,
was
Lindsay.
still grabbed onto my camera. How are you?
Awesome.
Good to see you.
Very good. I'm doing great. How the heck are you guys?
I think we're
Can't
doing all right,
complain.
right?
Yeah.
So we have a very short time, 10 minutes, and I don't want to bury any leads here. So I wanted to quickly share a screen and let everybody know that JL and Lindsay have a currently running Kickstarter campaign for a comics anthology called Cohorts. So as you see, it's short comics about team ups, and there's a ton of really fantastic artwork in here. I hope that you'll go check it out. Lindsay and JL, do you want to give folks a little pitch and the Kickstarter Oneshi Press URL where folks can find all this?
Well, the URL is our evergreen pretty link. It's kickstarter.oneshipress.com, and you can go there anytime. It will always either take you to whatever Kickstarter is live or just ended. And if it just ended, there will be a link to our,
Next project.
or our what do you call it? The backer kit store or something, So
Excellent.
it's never a dead link.
But right now, what it will take you to is the Cohorts Anthology, which is our 13th anthology of short comics by diverse creators from around the world. And this one is specializing in team-ups, consorts, co-conspirators, co-pilots, rascals, and rapscallions.
Nice. I love the pitch. And I'm looking off to the side here to check chat, and I see Yuki chiming in saying hello, yay JL and Batgirl. I also see Stephen Herrick chiming in, Jessica, Kirk. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Yeah, let's tell folks about Oneshi Press, because as I've mentioned publicly many times, you guys are the reason I started being a better person in the world, and basically planting trees for every publication that I do, because I saw you doing it first and I thought, my gosh, that's such an incredible idea. I want to do that too. Can I please do that too? And you were like, yes, please. We want everybody to do that. So do you want to talk about planting trees? Do you want to talk about new publications? Do you want to talk about existing publications?
The fact that you heard that we were doing that and immediately you were like, how do I do that? Speaks to the fact that you're just wonderful, and that you're already always amazing. So
people who like trees are at the top of our list of good people.
But yeah, so for every single backer on every single campaign, we're going to have a tree planted. We've already done several hundred, and we're going to just keep going. We want to get into the hundreds of thousands one day, you know.
Yeah.
I want to say that I want to give you a run for your money, but I don't know if I can with the number of Kickstarters that you're doing.
I mean, you know what though? You got a pretty good turn up for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think honestly, if you do one for every 4 we do, you might.
No, you'll probably match us.
Yeah, you might beat us.
I think I've got a ways to go, but regardless, we're getting some trees back in the earth. That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's the point, right?
Yeah. So I mean, part of the thing that is most important to us as publishers and as people is just trying to leave the world a better place than, you know, it was when we came into it. And for us, that means a lot of things. Like, part of it is publishing stories by diverse creators and, you know, getting more perspectives out there in the comics world and the non-comics world eventually as well. And part of that is, you know, letting people tell their own stories. Part of that is treating the creators that we work with as well as we possibly can. And personally, on a personal level, I've always been really big into trees, and so has JL. So we found this great this organization called One Tree Planted that will let you plant a tree for $1. And I, for a while, was buying gift certificates for like Mother's Day, you know, etc., for people as gifts. And JL finally was like, you know, this is such a cool idea. We should work this into our business model. And I was like, oh my God, what a great idea. Because I think that the publishing industry obviously eats up a lot of trees. And I think that we should be doing better at giving back to the world, ideally more than what we take out of it. So now we plant a tree for every backer. And our cat is insane, as you can see.
He's got the zoomies. He's a kitten, so he's just like attacking the curtain behind us.
I don't think
the real background will be revealed soon.
Yeah.
Oh God, please no.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you listed a number of things that have just severely endeared me to you guys, like treating creators right. When Lindsay says that, I don't know if everyone understands what that means, but for example, in the Cohorts anthology and in many anthologies past, you have guaranteed the creators a particular sum of money for contributing, but then if the Kickstarter campaign does well, then everybody gets more money. It's not like you're pocketing that cash for the next anthology. You're giving back to the folks who gave to the anthology, and I think that's so incredibly cool. You also talked about a diversity of creators that you bring into your anthologies, giving people a voice who may not have had it before. And I'm such a big fan of everything you do. And then on top of that, there's like not just comics, but prose, mixed media projects, games. I've got a bunch of your publications right here. I want to grab them, but I think I'm going to rip my headphones out. I've got Monkey Maids on the floor. I've got Children of Gaia on the floor. I've got your game on the floor right here. I'm going to try to get it. In the meantime, we've got like a minute left. Please tell whoever's watching anything you want to let them know about your work, because I want them to find you. I want more people to read Oneshi Press stuff.
Well, I'm going to talk about the Cohorts anthology because that's what's going on right now. We have 18 short comics from 30 creators from around the world, all in this anthology. It is our 13th anthology, so I think that it's safe to say that we're really good at making anthologies right now. They all, like I said, center around the idea of team ups, and that means a lot of different things. So we have a comic about a horse that gets into fights. We have a comic about a reimagining of Brer Rabbit who takes on Klansmen in the American South in the 1920s. We have a comic about some sort of friends of convenience who have developed telepathy and have to like band together to protect themselves from these like shadowy interests. We have a comic about a group of fairies that has to team up against all of the natural elements because they're only about this big to complete their mission. We've got such a wide variety of comics from so many different people all around the same theme, and it's super fun. And we have about a week and a day left to fund it. So if you're watching and that sounds like fun to you, please check it out. It's kickstarter.oneshipress.com.
Kickstarter.oneshipress.com. That's spelled ONESHI press.com.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Thank you
Well,
for
guys,
having us on.
thank
You're
you
awesome.
so much for making time to do this. I really appreciate you being here. I hope we can put some more eyes on your work, and thank you for stepping away from your stream, JL. Tell everybody I say hi.
Thank you for
Will do.
including us on this, and congratulations on such a successful campaign. I'm really
Yeah.
excited
Thank you.
about this book.
I can't
Thank
wait
you
to
so
get my
much.
copy. It's
Me
going to go right
too.
next to mirror drawings.
Awesome. I saw that prominently placed in your video. That was so nice to see. So thank you for doing that.
Anyone watching, check out our video. Ryan's book is in it.
Yeah.
There's bloopers
Awesome.
at the end.
Thank you so much for coming out, guys.
All right, take
Great
care.
to see you.
Bye.
Yeah. All right. I thought I saw Xania Lasagna popping on here for one moment. Let's see who else we got in chat. Shadowwind Art. Shadowwind, thank you so much for chiming in here. It's great to see you. Jessica says, love it. MJ Massey just popping on to say hi and congrats, Ryan, on a great campaign. MJ, thank you so much for being such a supportive force in all this. And if you are not familiar with MJ Massey, she does a great number of comic books, Alchemist of Aurelia, Black Ball. She's done a number of successful Kickstarter campaigns to bring these to life. So go check out Melissa J. Massey. Let's see. It looks like we might have the next guest, which I would like to introduce. So it is 8:10, a little after, and we've got Xania Lasagna coming live to us. And Xania is a Playdate game developer and an editor of a great number of publications. So Xania wears many hats and is a total powerhouse at all of these. This is one of Xania's games, Reach the Ocean, which we've been battling on in our Discord on the Hello Playdate podcast Discord for a while. Xania's also got Soothsayer, and we can get Playdate to open this up. Kabam! There it is. And Soothsayer's got some really incredible artwork and gameplay as well. And as if that wasn't enough, Xania's also done a heap of publications, from bundles of games and featuring what those are to entire calendars, which I just received. Xania, I am continuously in awe at all you do. Game developer, person wrangler. You are like a leader in this community, bringing people together to create bundles of games, bringing people together to create publications. I didn't even mention Uncranked, which is coming out real soon. So Xania, please take a moment to, there it is. Yay.
Except that it's blurred. I'm sorry. I don't think Zoom wants to show it at the moment. But yes, I do have them in hand. Batch 1 is actually shipping now.
Wow.
And I'm taking orders for batch 2, actually.
That's awesome news. Thank you for putting that together. And I would like to give the floor to you to introduce yourself and tell us about what you are interested in us hearing about, because you have a great number of projects and I want to know what's on your mind.
Well, I have too many projects to talk about, but first I want to say congratulations on the Kickstarter. I can't wait to
Thank you
get
so
my
much.
copy.
Thanks. Me
Just
too.
the other book. Oh man, I like anytime you do something, it's like a day one insta buy, no questions asked.
Thank you, Xania. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
And in regards to my I mean, these things that I do, well, apart from the game design and doing the magazine, yeah, there's just too many things to talk about and try to squeeze in within 10 minutes.
So, okay, maybe you can give us a quick pitch on your two main games. And I say main because you've done others too, Reach the Ocean and Soothsayer. Can you tell us about that for a second while I go grab my Playdate and show people what the heck a Playdate is who might not know
Sure.
about it? Okay.
Okay. Well, Reach the Ocean is my very first game. I've never done game design. It's only because I saw it from Tiny Yellow Machine with RNG Party that I actually got into gaming. I'm like, well, I guess I can make a game, and I like to play Playdate. That was my very first game. So it's a score chaser. You're a little turtle named Marshall, and you have to reach the ocean or defeat the Oracopus, which was added in August of last year. So you have 20 levels to get through. And as far as I know, I think it's still dubbed the Dark Souls of the Playdate games.
That's awesome. Very cool. And in addition to game designs, you also group together bundles of games from different developers and offer them to folks at a discounted price. And you've created zines for those. And you've created a Playdate calendar for 2024. And you're editing the Uncranked publication. Maybe we can talk about Uncranked for a minute, which is like the unofficial Playdate magazine. Is that fair to say?
It is because it's not backed by Panic, but Panic is supporting my cause. And just think about it. I mean, Nintendo had their gaming magazine, Sega, Atari, the Commodore 64. Why not Playdate? I think when no one kind of stepped up to the plate, so I took the bat and decided to hit a home run.
That's fantastic. So tell us what's going to be inside Uncranked.
Well, right now for issue 1, we have a little retrospective from Pixel Ghost. So he does the Life's Too Short series. There's a deep dive into internet communities with the MUFON Cloud. And the main story is actually from Direct Drive with Chris Mandra. Shout out to him. And I actually don't want to spoil too much. I want you guys to check it out and enjoy the zine.
Nice. So this is a full color 64-page publication.
48
Am I
page.
correct? 48 page.
40 plus,
sorry.
Yes. 64 page, maybe in the future, but right now, we'll see.
Sorry, didn't mean to misspeak. 48 page.
No worries.
And this is a sizable zine. This is 8.5 by 11. Is that right?
It is. Like I said, it would have been nice if they could show it, but it's all blurred out for some reason. But
it's a traditional magazine size, right? Yeah. Wow.
It's slightly bigger than a standard size magazine. I think it's 6.9 by 10, the standard size.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I'm so happy to hear that you are taking orders for batch number 2, because in the haste of this past month for me, I did not jump on and I saw, oh God, they're gone. But I'm glad to hear that they might be offered again. So everybody go jump on Uncranked. And where can they find this, Xania?
Actually, if you go to Xania Lasagna at storeenvy.com, everything will be there. You have the digital copy. If you're not sure if you want a printed copy, you can buy the digital copy and then you can move on to the printed copy. And I have my zines there. I have some other merchandise there that you can all check out.
Fantastic. Well worth it. And when we were chatting earlier, you said you might want to give out a couple of announcements. Is that right? Do we have some scoops here?
Yes, I do. But everything from batch 1, $300 will be donated to the SPCA.
Very cool. Lots of applause. That's awesome.
Thanks. And the community stepped up so much. I just can't believe it.
That's so cool. And you've been doing this for a number of different projects too, adopting different animals based on game sales. And do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because it seems like that's really important to you.
It is, because they don't really have a voice, so we need to talk for them. So for the first game, for Reach the Ocean, it was first sea turtles, which I adopted. After, there was a giant octopus to represent Oracopus. Then after, I did bunnies for the bunny bundle I did earlier this year with some other devs. In the summertime, it was seahorses. And for the Terraween bundle that I just finished in October, it was gray wolf. and update with that and the seahorse. 2 seahorses were adopted, and 2 gray wolves have to be adopted. With all the
Wow.
sales.
Wow. Very cool. So what exactly does that mean when a seahorse gets adopted? I
Well,
don't know how the mechanics of that.
sadly, with the companies, it's not like you actually get like an actual seahorse to adopt. It's a symbolic that goes to help with research and protecting their habitat.
Okay. Very cool.
But at least for me, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's so cool that you're doing that continually. I mean, like almost every project, it seems like you've got a donation to an animal to keep them safe. That's really incredible for you to do. With the minute or so we've got left here, what would you like to share with our audience? Anywhere you want to send them, anything you want them to know about?
You can follow me on Twitter at Xania Lasagna. Same thing with Mastodon. And all my links and everything is there.
Fantastic. Xania, thank you so much for coming out here today. And thank you for your time. And I and my co-hosts are all so impressed with you and everything you keep doing. I don't know how you do it. You put me to shame. I feel like I'm doing all right for myself. And then I see Xania just blowing everything out of the water with game design, publications, bundles, etc. And I'm very impressed. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. If you think this was crazy this year, wait till next year.
Oh my gosh, you've already set a very high bar for yourself.
Yes, I have. I'm going to surpass that.
Nice. All right. Well, I look forward to it, and be careful. Just be kind to yourself too.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
All right. Great to see you, Xania.
Right.
Thanks for being
here. Take care,
here.
Ryan. Congratulations again.
Thanks again.
Bye.
All right. So it looks like we have another guest who I would like to introduce to you. It is 8:20, and we have Art Ebuen with us, who is the writer for California Inc. And Art is releasing this through Studio 12/7. And if you take a look at his page, you'll find things like this, issue number 1 of California Inc., which is essentially a story of when California secedes from the Union and forms a corporate country where every citizen is also an employee. What could go wrong, right? So we also have issue number 2. Both of these were successfully kickstarted, and I've got Art here. So why don't I turn it loose to Art? Art, hello, welcome. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? How's my sound?
I can hear you perfectly. Yeah,
right,
thank you for being here. I see the hotel background, which means Art is ready to exhibit at Los Angeles Comic-Con. So Art, thank you for making time for us here today in the midst of your busy schedule. I know you were setting up today. How the heck are you?
I wish I was setting up today. We got an email last night saying that the LA car convention got they took a little bit longer to get out, so we can't load it until tomorrow morning.
What?
At least Artist Alley. At least Artist Alley can't load until tomorrow morning. So the bigger booths are in there as we speak. As I wrapped around the corner to park, there was this massive line of cars pulling into the back of the convention center. So
interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's wild.
I mean, I'll be fine.
Okay. I'm sure it will. And I don't want to spend our 10 minutes talking about LA Comic-Con, although if you're going, seek out Art at what table?
G17.
G17. Cool. So Art, please introduce yourself to whoever's watching and tell us about California Inc., please.
My name's Art Ebuen. I do a little bit of everything. Started my career as an illustrator, moved on to advertising, worked in advertising as a creative director for the last 16-ish years. And over the last 2.5 years, I've moved into the world of video production, where I produce and write and sometimes direct a little bit. And in that process between advertising and now, I've made a friendship with who's watching right now, our buddy Justin.
Yep.
And kind of decided to put some of my shorter form advertising writing into longer form. And after a few years of going back and forth and meeting with you and everybody else in the Kickstarter community and just in all these conventions, I finally put it together and made a comic. And all 96 pages have been written and approved by written by me, approved by Justin. As you mentioned, the first 2 issues
edited by Justin, not approved, right?
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't have to approve it. Come on,
he's nodding.
Let's keep Justin in his place.
he made sure I spelled everything correctly and made sure that the story made sense. No, huge help.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so issue 2 was completely funded. I was hoping to have issue 2 here on time for the show, but it's not. But it's on its way and will fulfill correctly. I mean, on time for those who kickstarted it. And it should be out. It'll be in my hands in December, and it will be shipped out this month. But if you're in town here in LA, I will have all the issues of all the covers of issue number 1, including all the variants from Dave, Don Aguilo, this one hack, me, and Andrea Muti. So I'll have those along with some pins and patches for all little Easter eggs from the story. And we'd love to say hi. Justin's going to be there at the table with me, so I'm excited to have Justin out there with me for both moral support, and we're going to both sit there and just grumble together. So
no, don't let him grumble. Yeah, don't let it. Come on, this is convention time.
No, that's what we do. We shame each other about the shows we watch.
So we've got all the covers up on the screen here that Art is going to have at LA Comic-Con starting tomorrow. Man, I so wish I could be there. I was chatting with Justin a little bit today. He said the convention was like 120,000 attendees last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's the largest number of attendees they've had last year, and this year they added 100,000 square. I'm gonna even double check. I wrote an article about this, but they added another 100,000 square feet specifically for the gaming and anime side of things because it's just busting at the seams. So they added way more space just for that. Which is great. It's good stuff.
I mean, is this starting to rival San Diego?
Stop. Yeah.
The numbers sound like, because I thought San Diego was like 150,000 attendees, and if this is 120,
yeah, it's the I think the amount of panels and the type of Hollywood presence in the San Diego event is much more robust. Where, as we know, SDCC is a vehicle for Hollywood to peddle its wares, because that's what I always say. But I'll take it as a San Diegan because it helps our economy. You know what I mean? And no, this is a great show too. It's fun. And I do like the access to their main stage that they have right in the middle of the back area. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's just, you don't need to wait in this massive long Hall H line. You just show up and watch the show, and then every 30 minutes they have a new guest, and it's really well done.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I want to pick your brain about the show at some point, but not right now because we've only got 3 minutes and I want you to talk about your work. So you said that issue number 2 of California Inc. is coming out in December, like, a few hours from now, which means that it's being delivered on time. Your projected delivery date from your Kickstarter was December 2023. So it sounds like that's going to happen. And do you have plans for issue 3 and or 4? Like, tell us about this moving forward.
So again, all 4 issues have been done, written, have been completed with writing and editing. Dave and I are starting issue number 3 actually next week. We're starting all the art for issue number 3, and then we're going to jump right into issue 4. We plan on getting all 4 done by the end or middle of next year. So all 4 issues will be completed by then. I will have issues 1 and 2. Here's breaking news. I will be at ECCC with issue 1 and 2. So
fantastic. Yeah. When's Emerald City Comic Con?
February 29th through March 3rd. Yeah. Okay. 4 days, right? Yes, 4 days. Great. So I've never been. I'm excited to not only go but be in Artist Alley. So I know it's juried and it's hard to get in, so I was floored that I got in, but I'm not going to complain. I'm going to show up and peddle my wares.
Hey, I'm not surprised. After reading your first book, it looked like something that could have come out from a big pub. It looked really professional. Thanks, loved reading it, and can't wait to get issue number 2 and beyond. I'll be there, man. It's really been a fun ride. So yeah, we've got like a minute or so left, and I want to give you the floor to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Do you want to direct folks to Studio 12/7? Do you want to direct them to a Kickstarter page? Like, you take the floor, please. I want to direct more eyes at you.
For sure. Obviously, if you're in LA, come see me at G17 in Artist Alley. If you're not and you want to check out the books, issue 1 is currently available at studio12-7.com, the number 12-7.com. Issue 1 is there physically. You could pre-order issue 2. So if you want to wait a couple days and make sure that it's in my hands, you can get both issues at the same time sent to you. And then we plan on having issue 3 Kickstarter going around March or April next year. And if you want to stay up to date with that, on Instagram, just go to CaliforniaInkComic.com. At California Ink Comic. There's no .com on Instagram. So that's it. So yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan. I'm excited about your book. You've been talking about this for a while. It sounds like everything that you've promised me. And I'm excited to learn more about you and your process of the last 20 years. It's doing great, man. Over 200%. Good stuff.
I can't believe it. I felt like I had a really tall ask at almost $10,000 to begin with. And I was, a little worried going in, and here we are 200% later. It's just, I'm floored. I don't know what to say, but thank you so much for your kind words and for being here. I appreciate your time, Art, and best of luck at Los Angeles Comic-Con tomorrow and over the next few days. And tell Justin I say hi. Wish he could have been here with us today.
Oh, I'll see him tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Looks like we have another person with us coming to you live on their potato cam. It's Nick Baldridge. Nick, how are you? I cannot hear anything you're saying. While Nick figures
Fantastic.
There we go. All right. While Nick and Don both figure out their mute buttons, I would like to introduce them. So we have hit 8:30 p.m. on this final night live stream, which means we are here to chat with none other than Don Walton Jr., who is the brick, the mortar, the everything for our Hello Playdate podcast that happens every other week. We've been chatting for, almost a couple years at this point about this little yellow handheld gaming device with a crank. And Don makes it really easy for Nick and I to come on and do not a whole lot, and he takes care of a whole lot. So Don, thank you for providing this platform for us all to get together as buddies and talk about games. This has been such a fun part of my life for the past couple years or so. And in addition to Don, we also have Nick Baldridge of For Amusement Only Games. Now, Nick has done a bunch of stuff with his life in terms of making technology, but I'd really like to highlight this one right here. It's called Drained Pinball. And Drained Pinball is this game that Nick manufactured and programmed, and his wife created the artwork for the whole darn thing. And if you want to find out more about it, you can go to drainedpinball.com. That's drainedpinball.com. All right. So Nick and Don, great to see you guys. How are you?
Hello.
Good to see you, Ryan.
Man,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here on another finale of a Kickstarter campaign for me. I feel like I spend this entire month shouting from the rooftops and talking with folks and promoting and talking with colleagues in the industry. And for me, this is like the selfish point where I'm just like, I just want to talk with my buddies. You guys want to come out and chat. So thank you both for being here.
Yeah, we can relax now.
Totally. Just take off the sweater.
I feel like I need a URL. We had drainedpinball.com. We got one bite at a time book.
Playdatepodcast.com. I was sleeping on the job.
Yep.
I should have put that up there. Next time. I'll edit it into the
Make a new
PowerPoint as we're
book and then
talking.
there
we go.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah.
Playdatepodcast.com, the book.
The book.
Mm.
Speaking of which, I just had Xania Lasagna on a few minutes ago, and Xania was talking about not only their games, but all their publications. I took a picture of all the Xania publications that I have, and it was a bunch, man. It was crazy. I'm going to rewind here and share this with you, because once I laid it all out, I was like, man, she is doing a ton of stuff besides designing games. Like, how is that even possible? Nuts.
Lasagna versus expansive.
Totally. And I don't know if you caught this when she was on right now, but the last thing she said when I was, praising her productivity, she's like, if you thought this past year was something, stay tuned for 2024. I'm like, oh my
Really?
God, please take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know how she could top herself from everything she's already done, but these are just a few of the zines in addition to Uncranked that's coming out, the games that she's produced and is producing. I told her all of us are amazed, and so anyway, I sent her congratulations from you guys too.
I saw.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got to keep our news segment full.
Right.
Give us something to talk about.
She makes our job easy. Fills
Mhm.
that up. That's cool.
Definitely.
So guys, what's going on with you? What is happening in the world of Don and Nick? Inquiring minds want to know.
Is Nick standing in front of the Ryan Claytor shrine or something?
Yes, this is the Ryan Claytor artwork.
Wing of your home.
Yes. Yeah, the
before
museum is nearing completion.
Ryan Claytor East Campus.
Before we embarrass me anymore, I'm going to read some things from the YouTube. Totally pops in and says, hey, y'all, that's super impressive. Xania says, thank you, Ryan, Don, and Nick. Totally says, Xania. Xania says, Toad. People are talking in the chat.
Nice.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. So this is like the one time people are ever going to get a video dose of any of us on this whole podcast thing we do.
We're going
I
to
can't
lose
imagine.
those 2 listeners you just mentioned. Both of them.
We've exhausted them. They'll be gone soon.
Oh well. It was fun.
Well,
Yeah.
Ryan, as you can see, I'm a big Ryan Claytor fan. I've commissioned a number of pieces from Ryan over the years, including this lovely Bingo Row print for some work that I do in the pinball space. And Ryan, I just wanted to say congratulations on this huge book. I am so excited to read it.
Me too. I can't wait to get a copy. And speaking of Nick's Bingo Row commission, that's going to be in the book too. So check it out.
Oh, cool.
You can have a physical copy for yourself. If you did not get one of the limited edition screen prints that were made, you will be able to see it in the book.
Well, what percentage of the book is pinball content?
I'd say about 25% of the book is going to be pinball content. Between the event artwork and podcast artwork that I've done, Coin Op Carnival has a number of pages, pinball themed watches. There's like a fair amount of pinball work that I've done. So, out of the 250 pages, I'd say, probably 60, 70 something pages are going to have pinball artwork on it. Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
I'll work on it for the next 20-year updates.
Donate my copy. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. What are you up to, Donathan?
Me? I'm just talking to you guys. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Today's the big anniversary date, the big release date, not just of your live performance here, but the Thing Pinball on Pinball M. So I'm anxious to go play somewhere. I was just playing it. Big Pinball Day.
Of what pinball? What's
the
happening?
Thing? John Carpenter's The
like
Thing
John Carpenter.
Pinball.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. Right
I
on.
thought that's why you invited us out tonight, but
I was
your
I was
book's a
trying
good
to
excuse too.
I was keeping it subtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing in that esoteric reference. I appreciate that.
Nick and I were exchanging pleasantries in the Hello Playdate Discord.
Oh, okay. That's one of the things that we all do that I don't pay attention to, right?
You pop in now and then. But if you want to talk to Ryan now and then, hop on the Hello Playdate Discord. Huh?
Yeah,
got
make
that plug in there.
Just make sure you tag me.
Yeah,
then I'll see
it. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, we have a thriving Discord community that I am sometimes a part of when I am not running gigantic book campaigns. But yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about drainpinball.com? I'm always up for that.
What about Bite Size? Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Well, Nick, go for it.
Well, thanks so much for always plugging my stuff. Right? I really appreciate it. I develop pinball games, and I have been doing it for a number of years. I started with some homebrew games, and I did in-home repairs for a number of years as well before kind of embarking on this. And I build games for a specific pinball platform called the P3, which is manufactured by a company called Multimorphic. And the basic premise is that you can swap out playfields and play different games, or people like myself, little indie devs, can hop in and make their own games on other people's playfields that have been designed. It's a really unique concept, and it's so incredibly fun to make games on it. So Drained.
I don't want to. I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to sort of clarify for folks who are not familiar with the P3. Essentially, this pinball cabinet that Nick is talking about, this pinball platform, supplies the cabinet, the first portion of the playfield here, and Nick has personally manufactured this back portion of the playfield that I'm outlining here and programmed an entire game around it. So it's convenient in that Nick does not have to manufacture cabinets and back boxes and speaker panels and coin doors, but can sort of focus on the design of the pinball machine itself. So anyhow, I just wanted to give a brief overview of P3-ness for folks who might not be familiar.
Yeah, so my company, For Amusement Only Games, not only do I make those software games, but I also, as Ryan said, manufacture the hardware. So I manufacture that entire back third of the playing surface, and it's shippable via normal package delivery services, UPS, FedEx, USPS, which is quite different from an entire machine, which has to be freighted. So it's very cost efficient for the consumer, but it's also very efficient, as Ryan said, for the designer and the developer. So with Drained, I personally turn every single screw, I solder every single switch, and I manufacture them right here in Richmond, Virginia, and ship them all over the world. And it's so incredibly gratifying to talk to people who have purchased or played games. And Ryan is a creator. I am almost certain that you feel a similar exuberance anytime you're speaking with somebody who just super digs your stuff and is interested enough in what you're doing to plunk down their hard-earned money to experience it. And just as you mentioned several times in this stream, just the overwhelming gratitude for this campaign. But I have a similar overwhelming gratitude for everybody who, pops in a quarter and plays it on location, who purchases it for their home or their business. It's just really incredible. And I've had the good fortune in game creation to work with a number of extremely talented people like yourself.
Like your wife.
And I was getting to that. I was building up to that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
My wife, Molly, is an artist as well, and she went to college for art. She's actually an interior designer, but that at the school that she went to is a fine art degree, and she had to do classical, painting and portraiture and all that kind of thing. And as I was scaling up for this game, I had a very unique aesthetic that I wanted to achieve, which is similar to the style of Edward Gorey, who is an American, pretty well-known folk artist. I guess that's how you classify his work. But it's all very fine-lined ink work. And I spoke with several artists. I think I confided in you, Ryan, as I was going through this process. I always write up a very full proposal for any contractor that's going to work with me on games that I make. And I scared away a few of them in discussing this, because the scope of a pinball machine is so massive. Mm-hmm. It is so hard to describe. you walk up and you experience it. You plunge the ball, you flip the flippers, things happen, lights flash, but there is so much effort that goes into every millisecond of that experience. Anyway, the artwork is a huge component of it, and getting somebody to create it is a lot to ask. So on a contract basis, artists don't necessarily want to be contracted for a year and a half, working on a single project, with pay schedule in there, but it's still a lot to ask, and it's tough to be stuck in one creative mode for a long time. Anyway, all that to say, I'm so proud of the work that Molly did and how much work that she did, and the way we were able to work together to make this happen.
And that you are still married afterward.
We are. She still approves of my presence. I'm actually here in my house, so that's a good sign. But yeah, she just did a phenomenal job. I think it was exactly what I wanted and more. I held up that plastic. This is a central plastic, and I love the expression that she placed on this bat. It's so friendly.
That's awesome. And I don't know if you've been able to tell on your potato cam or not, but I've been putting up images of Drain Pinball as you've been speaking. So people are getting a little taste of the artwork.
A better glimpse of it.
Taste. Yeah. I'm doing my best. You can't zoom in to see the Edward Gorey-esque detail, but people are seeing it.
So all that to say, I really love making games. I really love doing creative things. And Ryan has been a gigantic inspiration for all the creative things that I'm able to do. I am so fortunate to have you as a friend and to be able to, bounce ideas off you or show you what I'm working on and get that little bite of enthusiasm. It is so gratifying. So thank you, Ryan. And same for you, Don. Our chats give me a lot of life. So
thanks.
Thank you both. I've been
you, Nick. And I also wanted to heap some praise on Don too, because I don't know how many people know this, but the name of my book I've been telling people about nonstop for the past month, One Bite at a Time, came from Don. So I have Don to thank for not only the title of this book.
From your dad.
So I did not know what to call this book. This book was originally called 20 Years of Art from Ryan Clay, something dumb.
It was 100 words, I think.
I think so, at least. And somebody finally told me, you might want to think about something that is not quite so Ryan Claytor centric, because if people want an art book about, process, which is this overarching theme you've got, you might want to call it something else. So I came to my buds, Nick and Don, and I remember just in this chat, we were throwing ideas around, and Don said this, and when he did, I was like, how has that not been mentioned? But it's one of those names that felt like it should have always been there. And I've talked with folks who are like, you were sitting on this for a real long time, this title. You were sitting on this title for a real long time. Weren't you saving it for this project? I wish I could take credit for it, but it's Don who helped out, came through in the clutch. So thank you, Don. This book would not be named appropriately without you.
Great. I'll take it. Thank you. And if anybody's been wondering why Ryan promoted this 10-minute session as the Hello Playdate podcast, and we talked about no Playdate stuff
for an hour and a half.
We all met via pinball, by the way. Yes, there's a Playdate. We talk about that every 2 weeks, but we all met via pinball. So that's why we're all pinball enthusiasts. So Playdate people, if you're still tuned in, we used to talk about pinball a lot.
I think there are some Playdate folks tuned in. In fact, Totally says The pinball watch is super cool. Thank you, Toad. That's very kind of you. Xania agrees. Thank you, Xania. Ren chimes in. Hi, Ren. Thank you for coming out. Totally says, this is so nice. Totally also says, you're the best, Nick. I will let Nick agree now. Yes.
He's better than the other Nicks we have.
Well, we've
Sorry,
got Nick
other
F2.
Nicks.
We've
The
got
other
Nick
Nicks are
F2.
good. They're good, but they're not this Nick.
We're lucky to have some great Nicks in our presence.
We're lousy with Nicks around here. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
there are plenty willing to take my place when
should the event arise. Yes.
Should the or win.
There'll be an easy cycle of Nicks through the door.
Don,
none of them.
Don, what is the bite-sized summary of the Hello Playdate podcast? Because I don't think we've actually talked about that.
I thought we were
at
going
all.
back to Drained again.
No.
Drained
Not
bite
yet.
size. Okay.
We'll get there.
The bite size, the Playdate is that little yellow thing Ryan was holding up, and every 2 weeks we talk about it. It's a really open source. I don't know. That sounds too nerdy. It's a little video game system, and we like playing little video game experiences on it that you cannot have anywhere else. Yeah, Ryan made that cool graphic today, which looks awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. But yeah, we just hang out for an hour. We talk about it. We like to review usually an under the radar indie game that we all play together, kind of like a book club, and we mention it on our Discord so listeners can play along with it too. And we talk about news and new releases and whatnot. And yeah, there's a lot of cool little experiences because people like Xania was just on here and said that she hadn't made any games. She never programmed a game before the Playdate. And though that story comes up a lot with a lot of people. And now all these ideas that these artists have and have not had an avenue to get it out there, now the Playdate gives them a place to get it out there. And so we have all these new experiences that were locked until now, and so we get to experience them. It's really cool, and the barrier to entry is really low. Like the Playdate I think is $200 now, but the games range from free to like $15 is the most. There's a couple that are $15, and then almost all of them are free or like $1 or $2.
So Don mentioned the Playdate is $200, it's $199, and that is not just for the game system itself. It also comes with 26 games in addition to that. And these are not just like, little quick hits. There's some deep games in there too. So if you factor in all those games, this is just a bonkers steal of a little gaming system, and one of the many reasons that all three of us are so over the moon about it, plus the fact there's been this amazing community that's built up around this gaming system, from the devs to the artists to woo-haws who want to just talk about it like us, and so many other folks too. It's really been a pleasure to be a part of this community.
It's an incredible creative community. So Don and Ryan have both mentioned that, but I just want to highlight the fact Panic, the company that manufactures the Playdate, made an SDK available to anybody, and they made this web-based creation tool. So if you're just diving into making a game for the first time, they offer just a suite of tools to make it happen, no matter your programming experience. So the democratization of game creation is so cool. And the indie development community on the Playdate is unparalleled. Everybody seems to be so supportive, and there are so many great and unique experiences to try, as Ryan was saying. So the control methods on this are traditional with buttons and a cross pad. But there's also the unique aspect of that crank, which is an analog input device, as you might expect, in this digital handheld. So you can rotate it, and the system knows the direction that you're rotating it, the speed that you're rotating it. And depending on how the developer chooses to utilize it, you can just create some amazing things which cannot be seen anywhere else.
So I just want to chime in here real quick to clarify, because I get this question a lot when I mention this system to people. It's got a crank. They're like, oh, so that powers it? No. This is a gameplay mechanic. Like, you use the crank in gameplay. So again, sorry to interrupt you again, Nick. Go on, please.
Maybe they could make it so you could power it with the crank. That would be interesting for the Playdate too. But I was going to mention something about everybody being so supportive, and it's a great system.
It's a non-toxic gaming community. That's really nice.
Yes, it is very nice.
It is pretty fantastic.
And we have a Discord, as Don has mentioned. We have a podcast where we talk about it. We really believe in this system and really enjoy talking with each other about it. And for some reason, people enjoy hearing us talk about it, I suppose. But we've been able to talk directly with developers. It's a very unusual thing. And single person development shops, making these games, so impressive. Just, I can't overstate how much work it is to make any kind of game on any platform. And the fact that so many people are doing it for this little handheld system is so incredible.
Totally. Yeah. Speaking of totally chimes in, says Playdate is awesome. Thank you, Toad, for still being here. Ren chimes in with the smiley emoji face. Ren, thank you for still being here too. Appreciate you chiming in.
Go download Realistic Fishing.
Realistic Fishing.
Totally Under Control. Great
Indeed.
game. Go listen to our episode about it a couple weeks ago. Cool.
Fantastic. I am pulling up. No, that's the itch page. We should direct them to the
either one.
Catalog page.
It's on catalog. It's a built-in shop right there on the Playdate
storefront.
Thank you, Nick. Or there's itch.io where you can buy games and then just send them right over to your Playdate. And Realistic Fishing is available on both. There's like 900 Xania games that are available on itch, and a million other items, books and keychains and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, there's Realistic Fishing, the first big boy fishing game for the device everyone thought people would make fishing games for because of the crank. But this was the first big boy one. But really fun game.
Yes.
And we've reviewed I think over 100 games now.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's almost the end of the year, guys. We need to put together some top 10 lists.
Yeah, we do.
I'm putting it out there on blast so you guys make a list.
Top 10 live streams for one bite at a time.
Yes. Cool.
I'll do that during fulfillment. How about that?
Okay. April. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have my 2023 list in 2025 or so.
I'll take it.
Oh,
Cool.
Boise. Cool. Well, man, what else you guys want to plug? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to do? Are you done? Are we done?
Yeah, I want to plug my face with dinner here in a sec.
Okay, that's right. You're in an earlier time zone than I am.
It's not midnight over here. I mean, you guys can party all night, but
oh man. Well, Don, sincerely, thank you for being here. I don't want to keep you from food too long, but thank you for providing the most appropriate name for my book that I've been talking about for the past month or so. And I, despite my efforts then to rid myself from the podcast I do with you, I really do enjoy my time there with you. So
yeah,
thank you for being the glue that holds everything together. I love doing it with you every other week. I hope we keep doing it for many moons to come.
I usually like doing it with you too, and I really sincerely thank you for 20 years of great artwork, and I really look forward to seeing the book. And I don't just hang anything up in my house. I have your artwork hanging up in my house, and I do appreciate your artwork and your friendship.
Thank you, Don.
And this just grows 2 sizes every other Tuesday. And Nick's the nicest guy in the world.
Anywhere.
I used to say the nicest guy in pinball, but now he bridges multiple hobbies. So
that's right.
Always happy with Nick. Nick, if you release a book, we'll do one of these too. Okay.
Totally.
It's funny you mentioned that. But
Ooh.
Ryan and I released a book
Oh, you
together.
released the book. Yeah, but that was like 4 books ago. You were supposed to be
Nick-
on like issue 4 by now.
Yeah,
Remember?
we
one a
actually
year?
have 25 issues in the can.
Oh, okay.
Just ready to roll. We're just
Don't
waiting.
put that pressure on me.
Nick and Ryan did release a book. That's true.
We
That's
did.
right.
That's
It's called
a story
Coin
for
Op
another
Carnival.
day. Okay,
Oh,
that's a story for right now.
Here we go. All right. I thought Don was gonna have dinner.
Yeah, you tell that
Now he's
story.
gonna have
I'm
to
gonna
listen
go
to
to
the
something.
pitch.
All right, love you both.
Thanks for
Don-
being here, Don. We
Don.
love you too.
All right,
We love you too.
all right,
Yes.
all right. Bye.
Enjoy dinner.
Okay, I'll try.
So Nick,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this shared screen, but you were saying
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a book that we made together. It's called The Coin Op Carnival,
we sure did, man.
and we toured it around the country.
We sure did.
We had a great time making that book. I had a great time asking you to redraw some stuff.
Oh man, I've told you before, but that book is such a high point of pride for me, and I swear it would not be nearly the book it is without you. Nick jokes about having me redraw things, but without his just unparalleled technical know-how, this book would just be a shadow of what it is. So, I'm so proud of what we put together, Nick.
Well, you're very kind, and also I am super proud of it too. The book is 64 pages. We have an interview with the most prolific electromechanical pinball designer by the name of Wayne Nyans.
Most prolific pinball designer of all time. I mean, even
of
in
all time.
solid
Yes.
state era, who's
Oh yeah.
topped him? Like nobody's ever going to design that many production games ever again.
And if you count the games that he worked on as chief engineer, or that he worked on building the games in the factory, I mean, the list is endless. He's an incredibly fascinating person, and Ryan and I were so lucky to be able to spend a lot of time with Wayne and get to know him personally, as well as his fascinating story, both in the coin op business and just his life in general. What a great guy. And I am so pleased that we were able to have that experience and fly out and meet him and talk with him and visit with him and call him and all that stuff. Just means a whole lot to me that we were able to make friends with this designer from many years ago, pinball designer from many years ago. So cool.
It blows my mind when I think about
too.
it that
I can't even express it.
Totally. And like we were able to essentially befriend Michael Jordan of pinball. Like he is just such an incredible force. And on top of that, people say don't meet your heroes. I beg to differ with Wayne. Wayne was just such a incredibly smart, funny, sharp, intelligent person that he was so fun to chat with, and had such a clear mind for his time in coin op. Yeah, what an experience, man.
After we released the book, we exhibited together in Texas at Texas Pinball Festival, and then I drove back and visited Wayne to let him know how it went, how it was received. He was curious, would people be interested in this story? What would people think of the artwork and everything? And so I got to give him some really good news there. But the other really just incredible thing for me was that I was able to share a game with him that I had made, and he was able to play it and experience it. And, just gratitude, forever to have been able to have that experience.
Unbelievable,
yeah.
man. That's so cool.
So aside from the interview with Wayne, which is maybe about half of the book, thereabouts.
I'd say so. Yeah.
We have reviews of games, a pinball game and an electromechanical arcade game. We also have a technical segment that was written by yours truly.
Nicholas, slow it down here. Slow it down. Keep talking now. Okay, so you said a review of a game. Here we go. Mystic Marvel. Yes, and you said a review of an electromechanical arcade game. Here we go. Space Pilot. Yes.
That's the one.
And then you were going on about
something or other.
Explained the technical segment.
Technical. So I had Ryan draw a lot of switches in relays because this first article is all about how relays work. They're extremely important. They're kind of like the backbone of electromechanical technology. But if you think of an electromechanical game as a binary system with ladder logic, you can kind of equate it to the way that digital circuits work today. So it's very important to understand how that functions. And I was so, I can't express to you how pleased I am with how that all came out, because I spend a lot of time describing to people, helping them fix their games online. And I'll type out a big list of things. Okay, if you go to the schematic here, here's where you go. This is the thing, and it affects this thing, and then adjust that, you're good to go. But having that visual, and such a clear visual with an exploded diagram that's in color, is just really helpful, I think. And I've certainly heard feedback to that extent too.
I feel like that was one of the crowning achievements for me of that book, was creating that diagrammatic explosion, because I have difficulty with drawing interlocking objects, and that was just like interlocking objects on steroids. But it really made me understand these relays even better, having to do that and how they come together to create this little mechanism. And then even after doing that, showing it to you, and you're like, look, man, you're missing a switch. No, what was it? It was a solder tab. Like,
solder point. Yeah.
You're missing some solder tabs, man. This is not going to do. And I'm like, you're right. How would it connect to anything? How would there be electricity with that? So solder tab away. Anyway, yeah, that's just one example of the many ways that Nick was there as a backup of like, look, we got to make this right. And it is because of Nick. And we have received feedback. Like, I think one of the most gratifying pieces of feedback that I heard about Coin Op Carnival was when James Willing came up to us, bought an issue at Texas Pinball Festival, the largest pinball festival in North America, and went back to his hotel room and read it overnight, the whole 64 pages, came back and raved about the whole thing. And he was like, I could not believe those relay diagrams, that section on relays. I wish that was around when I was learning how to do EM tech. And like, that was just so heartening to me after working on that and getting it right with you, to have someone who knows to say, this is right. This is EM tech done right. And I hope it helps more people moving into the future to keep these games alive, because, they're so fun. They're so fun. And they're made to last too. They're made to be around for, gosh, I've got games from 1940, and there's games that are still around from before that. So anyway, these games are made to last. And if you know a little bit about them, you can keep them around, have a fun project, and then have a really fun game afterward to boot. So that's our hope for Coin Op Carnival as a whole. And I say as a whole because we've released one issue so far, but there will be more.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So aside from that, there's more. You know, what else can you ask for in a Coin Op Carnival? The answer are reviews of various other Coin Op ephemera, and there's even a fun letters page. And this is the craziest thing. Ryan surprised me pretty close to the end of the project. So we've been heavily editing this thing and just going back and forth like, okay, this needs a little tweak, this needs a little tweak. And Ryan says, hey, I got something crazy to show you. And he has fully illustrated papercraft
model of both of our reviewed games.
Both of the games, and he's included them in the book. So I mean, the illustration work is just amazing. And I say that being one of the creators, but I didn't draw a single thing. In fact, there's a comic panel where Ryan asked me to draw something, and my artistic ability is maybe negative. It's very low. And so it's pretty funny. And
we should probably preface this by saying I asked Nick to draw a portion of a panel that was supposed to be poorly illustrated. It was supposed to be bad. And I said, Nick, can you give me a little something here? And then he gives it to me and I'm like, oh my.
That's so bad that we can't even print it. So the thing that appears in the book is Ryan's representation of what a bad Nick drawing would be. But let me tell you, the actual Nick drawing is so much worse.
We'll have to have that in the eventual compilation at some point.
I hope you didn't keep that.
Oh my God, we'll have to dig it up somewhere. I am neglecting chat as I typically do, but I want to read through this real quick. Patrick Lugo chimes in and says, "Is this it? Your grand finale? How do you keep up the energy after 30 days?" Running on fumes, my man. But thanks to folks like you who are so incredibly supportive. You keep me bolstered. So thank you for being here, Patrick. You've been such a big supporter. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Xania chimes in, 900, you found my secret games. We mentioned 900 Xania games on itch. Patrick says, congrats, Ryan. And Fo chimes in, Fotini Walton, thank you for being here. I'm guessing that you're having dinner with Don by now, but thank you. Fotini says, Don always tells me the title when I'm freaking out. I can't hang up anything, only that which Don approves. Totally says, I'd love to see the original Nick drawing. Maybe one day. We'll see if I can convince him before, at some publication date. We'll see. This is going to be a long, slow burn if it ever happens. Oh, man.
So, Ryan, can I talk about something that's happening in the future, maybe?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Because I can talk about something else. I got lots of stuff.
I have no idea what's coming, but yes,
Okay.
That's what you're here to do, is to talk. I will take a sip whilst you chat.
All right. So Ryan and I have co-designed a game. And it's not just any game. It's an electromechanical arcade game. And it's called Robo Frenzy. And the general idea is that you're a miner who mines minerals from the earth, and you're traveling down into the mine to collect a cart full of gears. So you fabricate these gears down in the mine off screen, and then you cart them back up. And at the top, you're constructing a robot, giant robot. And each piece that you bring back to the surface will award a point. And when you complete the robot, it awards 2 points. And then the robot is carted off and you can start a new one. But there is an evil mechanical robotic octopus, which is trying to stop you. And it sends out 4 tentacles. And these 4 tentacles can change direction seemingly magically at random. And if they touch you, you drop the gear that you're holding, and you're not able to pick up a new gear for a certain number of seconds or a certain amount of time. Yeah. So this is a 2-player competitive game. so Ryan and I can stand right beside each other and play this game and yell at each other, kick each other if we have to, scream,
And
whatever we
one
need to do.
thing, and one thing that Nick has neglected to mention is that this is a stand-up arcade game that does not use television screens. This uses an animated back glass, which means it's a single sheet of plexi or glass with illustrations on it, and the only way objects move is through lights lighting up behind it. So this is very electromechanical inspired. The initial is going to be electromechanical, and then we'll see what happens after that. But we are creating a full-size stand-up arcade game. And the reason Nick is mentioning this is because this is what I'm going to be directing my attention toward post One Bite at a Time. Post One Bite at a Time book.com. You can still go there for the next few hours and pick up your book. But with that said, Nick's basically waiting on me at this point. I am the weak link because we conceived of this game together. We were working together in tandem, building this game up as Nick was, electromechanicalizing it. I was doing artwork for it. And then, the world started crashing down around us in 2020 and things happened. And Nick, as Don and I have established, is the most kind and patient person in the world and has been waiting around for me. And so after, I catch my breath from this whole big art book thing, this is what I'm going to be directing my attention toward, is completing the artwork for this game. And I am just beside myself to have my artwork on a full-sized arcade game and have one in my basement. That just doesn't even sound real. So anyway, I feel awfully fortunate to be able to collaborate with you, Nick, on crazy projects like this. This is just insane. I tell people about this, and they're just like, you can see it in their face. They're like, what really? No. Like, I know, I feel the same way. So anyway, I sure do appreciate you having you as a wonderful friend and a co-conspirator in so many projects.
Yeah, same, Ryan. Like, I am so excited for people to see this artwork, because what you've already done is incredible. It's going to blow minds, I think. It blows my mind. So I'm really excited for people to see it. And to experience the game. So we're going to see if we can figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I'll be honest.
Yes.
I thought was maybe a little bit of a pipe dream.
Yes.
Until you brought Drain Pinball into the world single-handedly. I mean, the artwork was taken care of by your lovely wife, but manufacturing every single one of them by hand. I mean, you mentioned a little while back that you turn every screw, and that's not an exaggeration. Like, every part of this game that was manufactured is manufactured by you. So
by me.
I feel like, well, I don't know, maybe Robo Frenzy could be a thing that gets manufactured. I don't know. So anyway, we'll see where it goes. But first, we're going to get it done, and we're going to get one in Nick and my basement and in our game rooms, and then we'll see what happens after that. We'll show it to some people. We think it'll be fun.
It'll be a fun experience. So all the circuitry for the EM version is completely designed and wired. And once the artwork is available, I'll finish, the prototype cabinet. But I have access as a manufacturer. I have a manufacturing space inside a makerspace, so I have access to a world of really incredible tools that I wouldn't have access to otherwise, which is what allows this to, maybe be a thing. So I'll be able to rapidly fashion new cabinets and other internals. So that's really exciting.
I'm really psyched about the potential of stenciled cabinet art again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it just tickles me to no end that might actually be a thing we could do. Anyway, so much cool stuff that we're going to be doing together once I catch my breath from this project. But I don't want to keep you too long. It's like already 9:15, and I know that you have books to read with children.
I do.
So I don't want to keep you too long. But Nick, thank you so much for being here, for being a co-creator, for being just such an incredible friend. Thank you. Glad to have you here.
Well, thank you for being such an inspiration, as I mentioned, for everything that I do. Game development, product design, everything. I can't believe that our families and each other have become such good friends, and it's such a just been such a joy in my life, and I hope yours as well.
Same.
But I do want to say, go to onebiteatatimebook.com.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Well, tell the family we say hi.
Will do. Same to you.
All right, will do. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right. So as Nick turns off the potato cam, looks like he got it. I don't even know like where to start. You know, I've been trumpeting this URL for the past month, and I am just blown away. Doesn't even start to cover it. You know, I am beside myself with gratitude that this book even is going to exist. This was a big, crazy design project, over 250 pages of artwork from me over the years in a gorgeous tome. I mean, I've talked about the cloth bound cover, the dual foil stamping on front, spine, and back. It's got a belly band. It's got a built-in ribbon bookmark. It's got color matched head and tail bands. It's going to have copper gilded page edges. It's going to have gatefold pages inside. It'll have, let's see what else, vellum overlays, die cut reveals, textured pages, and even an option for a clamshell book box to hold it. Like all of this. This is like the project of my dreams. And we haven't even touched on the fact that I'm self-publishing everything. I don't have a big pub behind me. This is me putting this together. But I could not put this together without you, without everyone who has pledged for a book, without everyone who has mentioned it to a friend or posted on social media. Oh, I'm going to get all verklempt here just talking about it because I can't even just fathom all the outpouring of support from everybody for this project. And it is not lost on me that this project would literally not be coming to fruition if it wasn't for you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything. I'm gonna have to get off camera before I start crying. Okay, thank you for everything. I'm so happy this is coming to life, and thank you for making it a reality. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Just a couple more hours of onebiteatatimebook.com. If you want to jump in on this project for 17% off cover price, free US shipping, shows up at your door. And on top of all that, you get a mountain of stretch goal goodies for no extra charge. And that's coming to every single backer existing and for the next 5 hours of this day. All right. So thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning into this live stream. Patrick, Totally, Fotini, Xania. Let's see who else is here. I'm missing Ren, Jessica, Shadowwind, Yuki, Stephen Herrick. Let's see, Kurt. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for being so incredibly supportive. It just means the world to me.